The Galactic Council chamber buzzed with anticipation as representatives from various advanced alien races took their seats. The circular room, with its holographic displays and translucent walls, offered a breathtaking view of the galaxy's swirling arms. At the center of the chamber stood a raised platform, upon which the Council's esteemed members would convene to discuss matters of cosmic importance. As the last of the representatives settled in, a hush fell over the room. The Council's chairperson, a tall, slender being with iridescent skin and piercing golden eyes, stepped forward. Esteemed members of the Galactic Council, their voice resonated through the chamber. We have gathered here today to address a matter of great significance, the recent addition of humanity to the galactic stage. Murmurs rippled through the assembled representatives, some curious, others dismissive. The chairperson continued, "As you are all aware, humanity has begun to venture beyond the confines of their home planet, Earth. Their rapid technological advancements and insatiable curiosity have led them to establish colonies on nearby worlds and even make contact with some of our member races." A holographic display flickered to life, showcasing images of human spacecraft, colonies, and diplomatic envoys. The chairperson gestured towards the display. While their achievements are noteworthy, we must now consider their potential role in the greater galactic community, particularly in matters of warfare and defense. At the mention of warfare, the chamber erupted into a cacophony of voices, each representative eager to share their opinion. The chairperson raised a slender hand, silencing the room once more. "I open the floor to discussion. Let us hear your thoughts on humanity's capabilities in war." A burly, reptilian representative from the Kraxan Empire was the first to speak, their voice dripping with disdain. "Humans, in warfare, don't make me laugh. Have you seen how fragile they are? A single shot from our plasma rifles would vaporize them instantly. They lack the strength, the technology, and the sheer ruthlessness required to be a formidable force in the universe." Nods of agreement rippled through the chamber, as many shared the Kraxan representative's sentiment. Another council member, a lithe, insectoid being from the Zephyr Collective, chimed in. "I concur with the Kraxan representative. Humans are soft, both physically and emotionally. They prioritize individual lives and have a misguided sense of morality. In the heat of battle, such weaknesses will be their undoing." As the council members continued to voice their doubts and criticisms, a lone figure sat silently, observing the proceedings with ancient, knowing eyes. Zathara, the wise and enigmatic representative of the celestial sages, had witnessed the rise and fall of countless civilizations throughout the eons. When the debate lulled, Zathara rose gracefully, commanding the attention of the entire chamber. "Esteemed colleagues," Zathara began, their voice soft yet penetrating, "I caution against dismissing humanity so readily. In my long years traversing the stars, I have learned that true strength often lies beneath the surface, hidden from those who judge based on appearances alone." The chamber fell silent, hanging on Zathara's every word. The ancient sage continued, "Humans, while seemingly fragile and idealistic, possess qualities that we should not overlook. Their adaptability, resourcefulness, and unyielding spirit have allowed them to overcome challenges that would have crushed lesser species. It is these very traits that could prove to be their greatest assets in the face of adversity." Zathara's words sent a ripple of unease through the council members as they began to reconsider their initial assessments. The Kraxan representative, however, remained unconvinced. "Pretty words, Zathara, but do you have any evidence to support your claims? Have you seen humans in action, or are you simply speculating based on some vague notion of potential?" An enigmatic smile played across Zathara's lips as they replied, "I have indeed witnessed humanity's strength firsthand, long before they ventured into the stars. In a time of great peril, when their world teetered on the brink of annihilation, I watched as they rose above their differences, united in the face of a common threat. It was their indomitable spirit, their refusal to surrender, that allowed them to triumph against odds that would have broken most civilizations. The chamber buzzed with a mix of intrigue and skepticism as Zathura continued. Do not underestimate the power of a species pushed to the brink. When their backs are against the wall, when all seems lost, that is when humans reveal their true strength. It is a strength born of desperation, of an unwavering determination to survive and protect what they hold dear. Zathura's words hung in the air, leaving the council members to ponder the implications. The chairperson, sensing the shift in the room's atmosphere, cleared their throat. Thank you, Zathura, for your insight. It is clear that opinions on humanity's potential in warfare are divided. Perhaps it is premature to pass judgment without further observation and understanding. The chairperson turned to address the council once more. I propose that we continue to monitor humanity's progress and interactions with the galactic community. Let us gather more information before making any definitive conclusions about their strengths or weaknesses. In the meantime, we should remain vigilant and prepared for any potential conflicts that may arise. With that, the council members began to disperse, each lost in their own thoughts and speculations about the enigmatic humans and their place in the galactic order. Zathura remained seated, a knowing smile playing across their ancient features. They had planted the seed of doubt, challenging the council's preconceived notions about humanity. Only time would tell if the wise sage's words would prove prophetic, but one thing was certain. The galaxy was about to witness the true strength of the human spirit, and it would forever shatter the myth of their alleged weakness in war. In a distant corner of the galaxy, far from the watchful eyes of the Galactic Council, a menacing fleet of alien warships emerged from the inky depths of space. The Zorgax, a race of ruthless conquerors, had set their sights on a new target, the thriving human colony of New Terra. Aboard the Zorgax flagship, a massive vessel bristling with advanced weaponry, the invasion's commander, Warlord Krazek, stood on the bridge, his eyes fixed on the holographic display of the target planet. Krazek's reptilian features twisted into a cruel smile as he observed the unsuspecting human colony, blissfully unaware of the impending doom that awaited them. Prepare the invasion force, Krazek growled, his voice dripping with malice. These pitiful humans will soon learn the true meaning of subjugation. They will kneel before the might of the Zorgax Empire. The bridge crew, a motley assortment of Zorgax warriors and technicians, hastened to carry out their warlord's commands. The fleet's weapons systems hummed to life, while legions of battle-hardened Zorgax soldiers readied themselves for the impending ground assault. As the Zorgax armada approached New Terra, the human colonists remained oblivious to the imminent threat. Life on the colony continued as usual, with people going about their daily routines, tending to their crops, and enjoying the fruits of their labor on this new world they now called home. In the colony's capital city, a young woman named Aria Solaris, a rising star in the Colonial Defense Force, sat in her office, poring over the latest intelligence reports. Aria had always been fascinated by the mysteries of the universe and the potential for humanity to make its mark among the stars. Little did she know that her skills in leadership would soon be put to the ultimate test. As Aria sifted through the data, a sudden alarm blared throughout the city, shattering the peaceful calm. The colony's long-range sensors had detected the approaching Zorgax fleet, and the realization of an impending invasion sent shockwaves through the population. Panic gripped the colonists as they scrambled to prepare for the onslaught. Aria, her training kicking into high gear, quickly rallied the Colonial Defense Force and began implementing emergency protocols. She knew that the odds were stacked against them, but she refused to let her people face this threat alone. In the Galactic Council chamber, news of the Zorgax invasion reached the ears of the assembled representatives. The council members, still divided on their assessment of humanity's capabilities, found themselves at an impasse. Some argued for immediate intervention, while others, led by the skeptical Kraxan representative, maintained that the humans were on their own. Zathura, the wise celestial sage, observed the heated debate with a heavy heart. They had seen the potential in humanity, but now, Faced with the harsh realities of galactic politics, they wondered if their faith had been misplaced. Nonetheless, Zathura refused to abandon hope, silently praying that the humans would find the strength within themselves to overcome this dire challenge. Back on New Terra, Area and a colonial defense force worked tirelessly to fortify the colony's defenses. They knew that the Zorgax's advanced technology and brutal tactics would be a formidable opponent, but they were determined to fight until their last breath. As the Zorgax fleet entered orbit around New Terra, Warlord Krazek's eyes gleamed with anticipation. He relished the thought of crushing the humans beneath his heel and adding another conquered world to the Zorgax Empire's ever-expanding dominion. The first wave of Zorgax dropships descended upon the colony, disgorging hordes of battle-hardened warriors onto the surface. The air crackled with the sound of energy weapons and the cries of the wounded as the battle for New Terra began in earnest. Area, leading the small but determined group of defenders, found herself in the thick of the fighting. She had never faced an enemy like the Zorgax before, but she refused to let fear consume her. With each passing moment, she and her fellow defenders fought with a ferocity that surprised even themselves, driven by the desperate need to protect their home and their loved ones. As the battle raged on, the Zorgax's superior numbers and technology began to take their toll on the human defenders. The Colonial Defense Force, outnumbered and outgunned, found themselves being pushed back, their lines crumbling under the relentless onslaught. Area, her armor battered and her spirit bruised, stumbled through the chaos of the battlefield. She had seen friends fall, and the weight of their sacrifices hung heavy on her shoulders. Yet, even in the face of overwhelming odds, she refused to give up. She knew that surrender was not an option, for the fate of her people, and perhaps even the fate of humanity itself, rested on the outcome of this battle. With a rallying cry, Area gathered the remaining defenders around her, their eyes blazing with determination. They knew that they were the last line of defense, the only thing standing between the Zorgax and the complete subjugation of their world. As the Zorgax forces closed in, their weapons trained on the battered human defenders, Area steeled herself for the final stand. She looked to her fellow soldiers, seeing the same resolve etched on their faces. They were ready to fight until their last breath, to make the Zorgax pay for every inch of ground they took. The battle for New Terra had only just begun, but already the human spirit was being put to the ultimate test. In the face of an overwhelming enemy, the colonists had shown a resilience and determination that belied their alleged weakness. They had proven that they would not go quietly into the night, that they would fight for their right to exist, no matter the cost. As the Zorgax advanced, their victory seemingly assured, they had no idea that they were about to face the true strength of humanity, a strength that would shatter their preconceived notions and forever change the course of galactic history. As the Zorgax forces pressed their advantage, the human defenders of New Terra found themselves backed into a corner. Warlord Krazek, his confidence bolstered by the initial success of the invasion, strode forward, his eyes gleaming with malice. He had expected the humans to crumble under the might of the Zorgax war machine, but to his surprise, they continued to fight with a tenacity that bordered on madness. Area Solaris, her armor scorched and her spirit battered, rallied the remaining defenders around her. She knew that they could not match the Zorgax in terms of raw firepower or numbers, but she had a plan, a desperate gambit that would require every ounce of human ingenuity and determination. "Listen up," Area shouted over the din of battle. "We can't beat them head-on, but we can make them bleed for every inch of our world. We'll hit them where they least expect it, using every trick in the book. We'll show them what it means to fight like humans." The defenders, their eyes blazing with renewed resolve, nodded in agreement. They knew that their survival hinged on their ability to adapt and outsmart their enemy. Area quickly outlined her plan, a series of guerrilla tactics and unconventional warfare strategies that would take the Zorgax by surprise. As the Zorgax forces advanced, the human defenders melted into the shadows, using their knowledge of the terrain to their advantage. They lured the enemy into narrow canyons and dense forests, where they could engage them on their own terms. Snipers, perched high above the battlefield, picked off Zorgak's officers with pinpoint accuracy, sowing chaos and confusion among the ranks. In the heart of the colony's capital city, Arya led a daring raid on the Zorgak's command center. Using a network of underground tunnels, she and her hand-picked team infiltrated the heavily guarded facility, planting explosives and sabotaging critical systems. The resulting explosion sent shockwaves through the Zorgak's lines, disrupting their communication and coordination. Warlord Krazek, his face contorted with rage, watched as his forces struggled to regain control of the situation. He had underestimated the humans, dismissing them as weak and insignificant. Now, faced with their unconventional tactics and unyielding spirit, he began to realize the true scope of his error. As the battle raged on, the human defenders continued to employ every trick in their arsenal. They hacked into the Zorgak's battlefield network, feeding them false information and luring them into ambushes. They repurposed civilian vehicles into makeshift tanks, using them to launch surprise attacks on enemy positions. They even weaponized the colony's agricultural drones, turning them into improvised bombers that rained destruction upon the Zorgak supply lines. The Zorgaks, accustomed to conquering worlds through sheer brute force, found themselves ill-equipped to deal with the humans' unconventional warfare. Their rigid tactics and reliance on superior technology proved to be a liability in the face of human adaptability and resourcefulness. In the Galactic Council chamber, news of the humans' surprising resistance reached the ears of the assembled representatives. The Kraxan representative, initially dismissive of humanity's chances, found himself grudgingly impressed by their tenacity. Zathura, the wise celestial sage, allowed themselves a small smile, knowing that their faith in humanity had not been misplaced. On the battlefields of New Terra, Arya and her fellow defenders fought with a savage determination, driven by the knowledge that their survival depended on their ability to outmaneuver and outblast the Zorgaks. They struck from the shadows, using the cover of night to launch daring raids and sabotage missions. They turned the very environment against their enemy, luring them into treacherous swamps and forcing them to navigate through dense, claustrophobic jungles. Warlord Krazek, his patience wearing thin, ordered his forces to redouble their efforts. He unleashed the full might of the Zorgak's war machine, determined to crush the human resistance once and for all. But even as the Zorgaks brought their most advanced weapons to bear, the humans refused to yield. They met the enemy's assault with a fury born of desperation, fighting tooth and nail for every inch of their world. They used their knowledge of the terrain to set traps and ambushes, turning the Zorgaks' own weapons against them. They fought with a creativity and improvisation that left the Zorgaks reeling, unable to anticipate their next move. As the battle reached a critical juncture, Arya and her team launched a final desperate gambit. They infiltrated the Zorgak's flagship, using their knowledge of the ship's layout to navigate through its labyrinthine corridors. In a daring act of sabotage, they managed to disable the ship's main power core, sending it plummeting toward the surface of New Terra. The resulting explosion lit up the sky, sending shockwaves through the Zorgak's lines. The invaders, their command structure in disarray and their morale shattered, began to falter. The human defenders, seizing the opportunity, pressed their advantage, driving the Zorgaks back with a ferocity that bordered on the primal. In the end, it was the humans' unconventional tactics, their ability to adapt and improvise in the face of overwhelming odds, that turned the tide of the battle. The Zorgaks, for all their advanced technology and military might, found themselves outmatched by an enemy that refused to play by their rules. As the dust settled over the battlefields of New Terra, the true extent of the humans' victory became clear. The Zorgaks, their forces in disarray and their pride shattered, were forced to retreat, leaving behind a world that had defied their conquest. The human defenders, exhausted but triumphant, stood amidst the ruins of their colony, their faces etched with the scars of battle. They had shown the galaxy the true strength of the human spirit, the indomitable will to survive, and the courage to fight against impossible odds. Area Solaris, her armor battered but her spirit unbroken, looked to the stars, knowing that their victory was just the beginning. The humans had proven themselves to be a force to be reckoned with, a species that would not be subjugated or underestimated. They had shown the galaxy the art of human warfare, and in doing so, they had forever shattered the illusion of their weakness. In the aftermath of the Zorgax's retreat from New Terra, the human defenders found themselves battered but unbroken. Area Solaris, her armor scared and her spirit tempered by the flames of battle, knew that their victory, while monumental, was only the beginning. The Zorgax, humiliated and enraged by their defeat, would undoubtedly return with a vengeance, determined to crush the human resistance once and for all. As the defenders set about rebuilding their shattered colony, Area received an unexpected visitor. Dr. Ilara Voss, a brilliant scientist and one of the colony's most respected leaders, sought her out with a glint of excitement in her eyes. "Commander Solaris," she said, her voice barely containing her enthusiasm, "I have something to show you, something that could change the course of this war." Intrigued, Area followed Dr. Voss to a secret underground facility hidden beneath the ruins of the colony's research center. There, in a cavernous laboratory thrumming with energy, she laid eyes upon the ace in the hole, a project so audacious, so revolutionary, that it took her breath away. "Behold," Dr. Voss proclaimed, gesturing to a towering structure that dominated the center of the lab, "the Prometheus Protocol." Area gazed up at the massive construct, a fusion of cutting-edge technology and human ingenuity. It was a quantum supercomputer, its sleek black casing adorned with pulsing veins of light, connected to a network of sensors and relays that spanned the entire colony. Dr. Voss explained that the Prometheus Protocol was the result of years of clandestine research and development, a project born from the need to level the playing field against the technologically superior races of the galaxy. At its core was an artificial intelligence system designed to analyze and adapt to the tactics and strategies of any adversary, no matter how advanced or alien. Area, her mind reeling with the implications, realized that the Prometheus Protocol could be the key to turning the tide of the war. With its ability to process vast amounts of data and provide real-time strategic guidance, it could give the human defenders the edge they so desperately needed. As the Zorgax fleet regrouped and prepared for a second assault on New Terra, Area and her team worked tirelessly to integrate the Prometheus Protocol into their defense network. They connected it to every sensor, every weapon system, and every battlefield asset, creating a web of intelligence that stretched across the colony. When the Zorgax finally launched their attack, they found themselves facing an enemy that seemed to anticipate their every move. The human defenders, guided by the Prometheus Protocol's strategic insights, moved with a fluidity and precision that left the invaders reeling. Area, her mind linked to the Prometheus Protocol through a neural interface, felt the rush of information flowing through her consciousness. She could see the battlefield in its entirety, every enemy unit and every human asset laid out before her like pieces on a chessboard. With a thought, she could direct her forces to strike at the Zorgax's weakest points, exploiting their vulnerabilities with surgical precision. The Zorgax, their confidence shattered by the humans' uncanny ability to predict and counter their tactics, began to falter. They threw everything they had at the human defenses, but each assault was met with a perfectly coordinated response, as if the humans were always one step ahead. In the heart of the battle, Warlord Krazek, his rage boiling over, ordered his flagship to descend upon the colony, determined to crush the human resistance beneath the weight of his personal might. But as the massive vessel entered the atmosphere, the Prometheus Protocol's sensors detected a critical weakness in its shield harmonics. Area, seizing the opportunity, directed a concentrated barrage of missile fire at the flagship's vulnerable point. The missiles, guided by the Prometheus Protocol's targeting data, slipped through the ship's defenses and detonated within its hull, setting off a chain reaction that tore the vessel apart from the inside. As the Zorgak's flagship exploded in a blinding flash of light, the invaders' morale crumbled. The human defenders, emboldened by their victory and the power of the Prometheus Protocol, surged forward, driving the Zorgaks back with a ferocity that bordered on the legendary. News of the humans' triumph spread like wildfire across the galaxy, reaching the ears of the Galactic Council. The representatives, once divided in their assessment of humanity's capabilities, found themselves united in awe and disbelief. The Kraxan representative, humbled by the humans' display of military prowess, begrudgingly acknowledged their strength, while Zathura, the wise celestial sage, allowed themselves a knowing smile, their faith in humanity vindicated at last. On New Terra, as the dust settled and the Zorgaks retreated in disarray, Aria and her fellow defenders stood tall amidst the ruins of their colony. They had faced the greatest threat the galaxy had ever known, and they had emerged victorious, thanks in no small part to the power of the Prometheus Protocol. Dr. Voss, her eyes shining with pride, approached Aria and placed a hand on her shoulder. "You've done it, Commander," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "You've shown the galaxy what humanity is truly capable of. The Prometheus Protocol is a testament to our ingenuity, our determination, and our unbreakable spirit." Aria nodded, her gaze fixed on the horizon, where the first rays of dawn were breaking through the clouds. She knew that their victory was just the beginning, that the Prometheus Protocol had opened up a new chapter in human history. With its power at their fingertips, the humans would no longer be seen as weak or insignificant, but as a force to be reckoned with, a species that had earned its place among the stars. As the sun rose over New Terra, casting its golden light upon the scared but unbroken colony, Aria and her fellow defenders stood ready to face whatever challenges the future might bring. They had proven themselves to be the masters of their own destiny, the architects of their own fate, and they would not rest until the galaxy recognized the true strength of the human spirit. In the wake of the Zorgaks' crushing defeat at the hands of the human defenders, the galaxy found itself in a state of shocked disbelief. The news of humanity's triumph, aided by the revolutionary Prometheus Protocol, spread like wildfire, igniting a firestorm of speculation, admiration, and fear. On New Terra, Aria Solaris and her fellow defenders set about the task of rebuilding their shattered colony, their spirits buoyed by the knowledge that they had faced the greatest threat the galaxy had ever known and emerged victorious. The Prometheus Protocol, the ace in the hole that had turned the tide of the war, became a symbol of human ingenuity and determination, a testament to the indomitable spirit of a species that refused to be broken. As the colony rose from the ashes, Aria found herself thrust into the spotlight, hailed as a hero and a visionary by her people. She bore the weight of their admiration with quiet grace, knowing that their victory was the result of the collective strength and sacrifice of every human who had stood against the Zorgaks. Across the galaxy, the Galactic Council found itself in a state of upheaval. The Kraxan representative, once the most vocal critic of humanity's capabilities, now stood before the Assembly, humbled and chastened by the events on New Terra. "We were wrong," they admitted, their voice heavy with the weight of their words. "We underestimated the humans, dismissed them as weak and insignificant, but they have shown us the truth of their strength, the depth of their courage, and the boundless reach of their potential." Zathura, the wise celestial sage, rose to speak, their ancient eyes glinting with a mix of pride and solemnity. "The humans have earned their place among the stars," they declared, their voice ringing through the chamber. "They have shown us that true strength lies not in the might of one's weapons or the vastness of one's empire, but in the resilience of the spirit, the adaptability of the mind, and the unyielding determination to defend what is right." The Council, moved by Zathura's words and the undeniable proof of humanity's valor, voted to grant the humans a seat at the galactic table. No longer would they be seen as a fledgling species, but as equals, partners in the great cosmic dance of civilization. On New Terra, Aria received the news of the Council's decision with a mix of pride and humility. She knew that the road ahead would be long and fraught with challenges, but she also knew that the humans were ready to take their place among the stars. As the colony continued to grow and thrive, Aria and Dr. Voss worked tirelessly to integrate the Prometheus Protocol into every aspect of human society. The AI system became a guiding light, a tireless advisor and strategist that helped the humans navigate the complex web of galactic politics and diplomacy. Under Aria's leadership, New Terra became a beacon of hope and innovation, a shining example of what humanity could achieve when it set its mind to a goal. The colony's technological advancements, guided by the Prometheus Protocol, attracted the attention of the galaxy's greatest minds, sparking a new era of scientific collaboration and discovery. As the years passed, humanity's influence continued to grow, spreading beyond the borders of New Terra to encompass a network of colonies and outposts that spanned the stars. The humans, once dismissed as weak and insignificant, now stood as equals among the great races of the galaxy, their strength and resilience a source of inspiration and admiration. Aria, now a respected leader and diplomat, found herself at the forefront of this new era, working tirelessly to forge alliances and maintain the delicate balance of power that held the galaxy together. She knew that the road ahead would be filled with challenges and dangers, but she also knew that the humans, armed with the power of the Prometheus Protocol and the unbreakable spirit that had carried them through their darkest hour, were ready to face whatever the future might bring. As she stood on the observation deck of New Terra's capital city, gazing out at the stars that now seemed within reach, Aria felt a sense of profound gratitude and responsibility. She knew that the victory they had won was not the end, but the beginning of a new chapter in human history. And as she looked to the future, she knew that the humans would continue to push the boundaries of what was possible, to reach for the stars and beyond, guided by the light of the Prometheus Protocol and the unyielding strength of the human spirit. For in the end, it was not the power of their weapons or the might of their armies that had carried them through, but the resilience of their hearts, the adaptability of their minds, and the unwavering belief in the potential of their species. The dawn of a new era had arrived, and humanity, once dismissed as weak and insignificant, now stood tall among the stars, ready to shape the destiny of the galaxy and prove, once and for all, that the strength of the human spirit knew no bounds.